Hi, my name is Caroline. I'm one of the instructors here at Millie, and I'm always on the hunt for a really fun product. And this one was brought to my attention, and it's a really neat product. I just wanted to share it with everybody. Millie carries now the little pack, and this comes with everything you need to start. It has the refill for the precision piecing product with the easy press fabric treatment to put into your pen, which will look like this, and it's for a seam press. And it also comes with a little bottle of glue. Now, interesting, when I first found this, I thought, oh, I don't need the glue. Ended up using the glue and loved it. So this is all you would need to get started. They also have the refills and separate if you do need for the glue. And a really neat product is the 16 ounce they have, I believe, yep, 16 ounce with the spray bottle, so you can use it actually as your starch too. And it's really amazing. So I can't wait to show you how this works. So first of all, your pen comes, excuse me, comes with a little flexible felt tip so that you just run it along your edges or along your seams, and it just presses beautiful. So I'm going to demonstrate first how to press these and glue them, and then I'll show you how fabulous it is. Your glue comes with a very tiny little applicator, so you don't get blobs of glue on, which is really nice. If you want to glue your product or your fabric instead of pinning, sometimes pins get in the way, and as quilters, we don't like to sew over our pins, and we're not supposed to, and we all know that. Some of us do once in a while. But if you just put a little dab of glue, I did about every 1/2 inch, you can put it farther apart or wherever, as close as you would want. If you recap your glue, it's fabulous, but I have been known to leave it off for hours, and it's just fine too. So I put my little dots here. I'm going to line up my fabric, and I'm just going to touch it down a little bit. And I don't know if you can see this, but you can see the little dots of glue already setting in there. I'll do the next one. Just little tiny dots. And from what I understand, this was made by a person who repairs sewing machines. So it does not gum up your machine at all, your needle or anything. So just touching that, and again, you can see the little dots come right through. Take your iron, just put it down, hold it for just a little bit as it adheres the glue and sets it. And also I did put it within my 1/4 inch seam allowance because when you press it open, then it would just not interfere at all. However, it's not permanent. So if you need to undo it, you certainly can. And I'll even show just a little bit of a tug and it comes right apart. But we'll glue it back again just so we have it all the way we need it. And again, now it's just adhered very, very nicely. I'm going to go to the machine and I'm going to sew these. All right. And now we all know that generally as quilters, we don't press our seams open. But lately that's been coming more and more popular. On this one, we would generally press it towards the dark. But just for demonstrations and for another reason why I would use this, I'm going to press this seam open. Get in there a little bit. And notice how it just comes right open with that glue. Now here's where, now even with this very hot iron, if you notice how that's a little bit bouncy, my seam is, you know, certainly open there. Now as I take my pressing, or my stick, run it right down. And if you can see it, it's already laying flatter just by putting that on. I'm going to put this back on. Now look at how nice and flat that is again. And then even from the other side, it is just so flat. Now I'll do this one without pressing, and I'll show you again how different it can be. Get my little seam open here. Open up my little glue. And then pressing this open. Now look at again how bouncy that is and how flat. Look at the difference on that. Even if I go through and do it a few times, it still does not lay flat like that. So I'll take my pressing pen, go right down, and you can see just a little bit of the solution is on there. It's not even saturated. But then as I go back over it, and just totally flat again. And from both sides, it is just so perfect. Now, back to the glue. What this is really handy for is normally if we would have pressed to the dark, we could nest our seams, but because just for demonstration, I opened my seam. So you know that as we're going to go back to the machine, that's not going to nest like we normally would. So what I would do, put a little dab of glue on both sides of the seam. Go very careful and put that together right where I want it. And I'm just going to take no rolling of my iron or pressing of my, or just press. That's all you want to do is just press that little glue. And if we want to go a little bit farther, we certainly can. But the most important piece on this one is right in that center there, so those seams just line up perfectly. And set that glue, and again, I can see it just kind of pop through, but I have never yet had it affect my ironing station or my sewing machine. So there we got our pieces together. And as we open this up, and it is absolutely a perfect seam because of that glue. Now at this point, I can open my, or iron my seam to one side. Okay, and look at how that, even with a hot iron, that just doesn't want to stay totally down. So if I go from the front side, which is where I press towards, run my pen right down there, and you don't need any more than just one swipe. I'm going to go back, iron that down. And absolutely flat again. From both sides, it's just so nice and crisp. And just ahead of time, I did this one. I don't know how well you can see this, but how flat it was on this side, and I didn't do anything to this side at all. Now if I go back and put it on the back side of the seam, which you can too if you want everything to look good on the back side. And now we have that side is laying just as flat as the first side. So pretty fun product. It can make your backs look really good. Sometimes when you have so many seams that come together and your back just gets kind of messy, it'll just make everything just lay so nice. And it'll be just perfect with the gluing. So again, one extra tip, because these bottles are a little bit smaller for your pen, this product, the 16 ounce, is amazing to put into one of your spray bottles for Millie peas. This gives just a really fine spray, and it works fabulous. And if you're gonna press your whole quilt top or some long borders, you certainly wouldn't want to take the time to use the pen. So this would be just amazing for your finished quilt top or any of your big blocks to just make them lay really nice and flat. I find it a must in my sewing room. Hope you love the product. It's a pretty neat one. Thanks.